Good evening, how you doing? Today, we're going to do something real funky with this blade. Been looking forward to this for a couple of days now. It's going to be sick. We've taken the airbrush so far. We've got a nice fade from some dark purple all the way up to a nice fiery orange red. They cross over across the middle. Just got a little nice bright point in there. Done obviously the flames. The hand was done through using the airbrush, liquid masking. Just taking that off just prior to the stream. Looking tight, looking tight. Sarah, how you doing? Viking, what up? Jager in the chat as well. How have you guys been? Who's been doing some hobby? Has anyone been doing some hobby? Blue Magnus, only Magnus. If it ain't blue, why are you bothered? Why are you bothered? Fair enough, Viking. Tight number 4, got a little paint down between chores. Good man. Good man. So I've been buying lots of hobby. I mean, haven't we all? Like, that's the general state of being of anyone that's in that plastic crack lifestyle. Do you need that? No. Just bought it. Why? I'm not sure. That's how it goes. Andy Evans, Crooked Grin, Dez. How you doing, brother? We got a Gundam. Okay, cool. Dez, I saw your little battle report in Discord. Sounded very cool, man. Very cool. Right, so what we've done so far is paint this beautiful fade, and now I'm just going to paint over it. That's where we're at. So if this goes horribly wrong, well, we know what to do. Just got to do it again. So I've got some Thramar Black on the palette, just thinned with a little bit of water. I'm going to create a molten effect along the blade. So I can't believe I'm actually about to do this, but basically we need to paint a jagged edge all along sort of one part. We're going to leave this open to the elements, this corner. Bring that molten edge in here and then extend it around towards the flames. Bring it in a little bit from here, a little bit around the end, just sort of coming in, and so on. So let's get to it. What we don't need to do is worry too much about keeping this super neat and tidy. In fact, if there is a little bit of like natural sort of don't actually know the right word. Basically, as long as the edges of our sort of lava freehand that we're about to do are relatively clean, we're okay. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of a dog-legged line or anything like that. That's not a problem at all. Kets, what up? You're on audio only. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. Just shoehorn that one in, you know. Don't want to do just a load of triangles either, so I'll start breaking these up. And then we'll do a few lines that just sort of join in between as well once we get a bit of a rhythm down. And I'm going to leave that gap for a sec. Also going to leave most of that one. That's sort of been burnt away, I think we could do. Danny, how you doing, man? Have you varnished that blade? I mean, yes. Thanks for, like, the concern and the spam, shall we say. But, you know. Awesome. Good to know, mate. Want to see that glazing practice done though for tomorrow night. Danny's got himself a painting lesson courtesy of Ginger Dan and Mr. Jager. Going to be doing some non-metallic metal, some like black blue going down. It's going to be super cool. That'll be just after the Hellstorm stream, so around 8 to 8:30 tomorrow. I'm going to start off. Just going to work up from this side and come down. Just want to get block it around the flames essentially for now. Band's Lost Arms, how you doing, bud? Thank you very much. Just throw it down. Just do a little sort of sketch. I will totally admit to you guys, I am making this up as I go along. So we're going to learn whether this is a good technique or not this evening. And like I say, if it all goes horribly wrong, it's okay. We just do it again. So much fun the first time, why not, right? Turn the music down just ever so slightly. It's a bit loud in my ears. Oh, finally off the meds and healing. Awesome, mate. Awesome. Do you know what your sort of recovery time frame is looking to be? I feel like back to normal. Obviously, not looking too much like anything molten just yet. What we'll do is we'll just do sort of one side of the blade to begin with, and we'll just do one half of it to start. Make sure things are working before we start bringing in the entire rest of the blade, let alone both halves of it. So I come down here now, and we'll work on this section. A better choice for Necron Warrior weapon. I think you want to mix. There is no one choice, one size fits all, mate, because you're going to want a unit of warriors sat on an objective at the back of the field, and if they're within 24 so they can still shoot their gorse, great. That's perfect, that's ideal. If they're within 14, then the enemy's getting real close to your backline, which means you're very likely to lose that objective relatively swiftly. Do you see the molten sword someone posted in the mini painting subreddit? Nope. No, I'm not on Reddit very much at all these days. That might have been Damien's. He did one the other day. Like I could have watched the tutorials for this, and I haven't. Because all of this, like everything we've done so far, has just been me winging it. Everything. I know roughly what I'm doing in terms of I have a plan, and we will execute the plan that I've come up with. But certainly for now, it's just a case of play with the paint, see how we go. Fill that in. Going to take a couple of passes to get full opacity, so we just flick back over there and fill it in again there. Nice, mate. Nice. So the pairings for No Retreat 9 went up the other day. I know a few people outside of the No Retreat chat have seen the pairings. I've got a really, really tough opponent in round 1, which is going to be great fun. Sakurem, I think. Good evening. Finally overcome my lack of motivation to paint. Now I have a lot of paint to restore. That sucks, man. At least they can be restored, though. Usually. Okay. Let's just lock this one in again. Cover up any areas where we've not quite got full opacity. We'll then start working this path in along there. And work out a little of what we're going to do around some of these areas. I think what we should do is have like the circle basically breaking out of the lava, so the molten effect would sort of come in around it, a couple of cracks going through, same as down to the bright point we've got there and up here. I think that would look pretty sick. Obviously the black is just the first of a couple of stages that we'll be doing for this. This will have highlights on it to help sell an effect for depth, as well as help to give us a sort of illusion of heat. I've got all of the colours that we used for the blend underneath still out here on my desk, ready to go, just in case. Nice, dude. That's good. Alright. So I want a line to go between these two essentially. So work this up a little further. And then let's just rough in a line along there like so. I'm happy to have more molten towards this side, so darken this area down. In terms of the last time I painted was 2018. Not bad, man. Not bad. What got you back into doing some painting? What made you pick up the brushes again? Let's avoid painting La Flamme. Obviously all of this has still got to have highlights and so on it, like the flames, the glowy orbs, bits of the sword blade, everything else. And I should probably do some of that before painting this lava effect, but because we're sort of working this out as we go along, and we're doing it this way around. If we just do that, well, that's not working. If we just do that, that's kind of the effect we're going for the sword blade. We've always got a load of work to do in the middle there, but getting there. Nice, nice. Disco Lord. You can throw them all in the bin. Fucking hate those things. The mini looks great. From a competitive perspective, I have played against so many of those with the Alpha Legion. Sorry, not Alpha Legion. Well, the possessed one actually was pretty gnarly. But the flawless host, Disco Lord, in the bin. In the bin. Fish, how you doing, brother? So the list I've got to face at No Retreat is grim. If there's any Death Guard players in the room, Fish, take note. This is disgusting. It's not unkillable. It's not unbeatable. And I'm in a fairly okay position to be able to beat it. Especially if I get first turn. That would be super, super cool. I'm playing Death Guard, and I'm playing against the Poxmongers. You fuck off. Daddy long legs is they're bloody awful things. Jack Vin! Dude! Thank you very much. Welcome to the stream. Sakaram, thanks for that follow as well. So he's got the Poxmongers. Vectorum. Play Company, whatever it's called. It is Poxmongers, yeah. And it has, of course, got the good old Iron Clot Furnace. Don't leave home without it. And the Iron Clot Furnace is going on a Demon Prince of Nurgle, who is leading an Outrider detachment. That's right. That's the one with all the fast attack for those that are sat there going, what the fuck is an Outrider detachment? There is, in the Troops choice, one 10-man unit of cultists. That is all. Just that. I don't know what else you'd be expecting. You know, maybe some actual friggin' Death Guard, but no. Just 10 cultists. This is it. There is a fetid flamer man. What's his fucking name? Foul Blight Spawn. It's a Foul Blight Spawn. There is a Tallyman. So at least he's got some actual Plague Marines, I guess, in the form of those two characters. And then, somebody's guessed it already, there are 2 PBCs with entropy cannons, and yes, of course, one of them's got the accelerated entropy strat. There are 3 of the Flesh Mower bloat drones, because gotta love that strength 8 in combat when they're undamaged. And then there are 3 units of 3 Mephitic Blight Haulers. 3 units of 3. That's a list. That's a solid list. Now, when the pairings were done, I had a couple of people instantly message me, like, dude, so sorry. You've got the shitty, like, super bent list game 1. Now, here's my thoughts on that list, Fish. Let's see if you agree with me. You've got one thing that's got OBSEC. You've got some decent units to tie up some enemy threats. You've got some fairly decent firepower against larger targets or things like super elite infantry armies. Maybe Grey Knights, maybe some Custodies, things like that. What you don't have is a lot of OBSEC, so can make it tricky winning the primary. You'll need very good decision making, very good deployment, and so on. You've got decent range. Effective range of 32 inches, for your movement, and then firing those melters. So that's good. Those are all the pros. These are good things. Knights can't cap many objectives to take advantage. You say that. Just you wait, sunshine. I have maxed the primary in 5 of my last 6 games. Peckish. Holy shit, dude. It's been a while, man. How you doing? Let's get some love in the stream for my boy, the Peckish Fox. Gotta give him a follow. I'm painting a molten crazy demon sword at the moment. Right now we're just laying down some black. Once we've done this section fully on the black, we'll start working through the highlights, making sure we're working the right way with the right things and we've got the right ideas. So those are the pros of that list, Fish. Cons, like I said, there's not a huge amount of OBSEC in there. Another con, you want a bubble. Basically, you want to put everything in a bubble. Because you want that 4-up invulnerable save. Especially against somebody with a load of thermal cannons, right? Because 3 knights and 3 armigers get on my level. You can hold all of those objectives, man. So you need to bubble to keep that 4-up, because if you don't, you know that whatever target is outside that range is going to get picked on and done. Absolutely done. And you also know that as soon as you lose one of the haulers from each unit, that they are a lot weaker than they were. So there's lots to consider. Hey! Abaddon, you absolute boss. Thank you very much, son. Much appreciated. They look strong on paper, they're down at about 40% win rate right now. So I can tell you exactly why the reason behind that is. Whenever any faction comes out that is on paper super strong, but requires just even a small amount of finesse to play, all the guys that sit between, say, table, I don't know, 32 and 16 are playing that list because they think that's going to be what's stopping them from playing on tables 8-1 regularly. So they're like tanking the score. When Marines first got their buff, yeah, they had a massive win rate. But if you broke down the score and sort of looked at the actual finishing places of Marine players, you had this big gap in the middle. Right? You had loads of people finishing down here, you had loads of people finishing here. You didn't have anyone finishing here. And that's because all of those were the players that would normally be a mid-tier Finnish player coming much higher because of the strength of their codex, but all the ones that were still going to lose the tournament anyway were still losing the tournament anyway. So it's Chaos Knights and Imperial or Chaos Knight lists actually a soup? No, if it says Chaos Knight or Renegade Knights, I think is the ITC faction for it. At least it used to be. It may have changed it for this season. Then it's pure Chaos Knights. Do you know what the win rates are for both of those two? Because the Imperial Knight win rate is mostly held up by myself. I have no idea what the Chaos one is. if they've got a 66% win rate, then absolutely that's one guy that's come in big at a large event a couple of times. They do have some nice features over Imperial Knights. The way you can go like double thermal, double Avenger, and so on is pretty tasty. But you don't have a get back up a full strength strat. They got a way better engine war supplement than we did, but not by like that wasn't game breaking by any stretch of the imagination. But if they're sat at 66% and they're continually sat that, then Jesus, really? Somebody's got to be playing that as soup. That's mental. I, if I'm honest, don't really rate Chaos Knights over Imperial ones. Sorry to any Chaos Knight fanboys out there, but you just don't have as much stuff. Sally's at 74, yeah. That's ridiculous. Like, no faction should ever hit 60% win rate on average across the board. And that is mental. Hey, Jay's not a sad Imperial. Jay loves the Imperial Knights. They're the best Knights. Chaos Knights are like, they wish they were all Night Lords. That's how edgy they are. Alright, so you see what we're doing. We're kind of getting these little floating islands, these little floating spots, etc. in the center of the blade here. We want to expose a lot of this, but have it darkening out towards the edges. That's why we've done everything we've done here. Just going to come in quick and fill this again, give it another pass. It's looking a little bit wishy-washy. And again, we're just using some normal black acrylic paint. You could use ink for this. I thought about it because it's got a lot more like staying power, a lot more like potency. But I figured this would be alright. Guard at 34% is absolutely a travesty. Guard is still one of the strongest armies in the game as far as I'm concerned. Played correctly, they're phenomenal. The only problem is nobody wants to play them correctly because it costs fortunes, and you have to be extremely efficient in your movement and shooting phases. You can't fuck about at all. So we're just doing some thin kind of paths through to join these to a few different spots here and there, trying to avoid doing a lot of the same angle, so trying to keep it relatively natural. And then where we find that we've got a bit of a blank space, we'll add another one and connect that up. Doesn't matter too much if it looks a little bit like a weird geometric pattern because it kind of fits with Magnus, but if you're doing something that's really like truly molten, you need to be random. What's up, Bob? How you doing, bud? Fish, that's exactly where it all should be. Attack and heal D3 plus reroll random shot dice looks fun unless you face allies. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Because of Eradicators, everyone's playing Sallies. Also because they ignore AP1, which is super, super strong. And you've got all the dependability of 1 billion and 2 rerolls every turn. I noticed that the 1 Eldar player at No Retreat is taking Iandan and not Expert Crafter's Masterful Shots. Is it Masterful Shots? Something like that. Wow, we got a bot. We got a bot. Let's get a ban in. First mod to ban that bot. Gets a special place in my heart. I think it's the 3rd. Yeah, but Smash Captains in general are absolutely brutal. Like, to be honest, the Blood Angel Smash Captain is a better Smash Captain than that. Dez, in like Flynn, saved us from the bot. Absolute superstar. Jager's like, one day I'll be almost as good as Dez. How does he do it? He's the man. So this is what I was talking about on the last stream when I said that we'd have a load of stuff in the middle. So if our blends weren't completely perfect, it didn't matter too much. Obviously, you want to try and keep it like relatively smooth, but we had this as like a disclaimer just in case things didn't quite go so well. Des Dog, best Des, brilliant. Callum Peeler! How you doing, buddy? You lost the band hammer, it went walkies. Desi's dog's taken out. The Sally's catching on bite, you can. Because he's T7 with -1 to wound, right? So I stand on him and half my attacks wound. Then he saves 2/3 of those attacks. And then dies. Or I shoot with a thermal cannon. Still win the 4s. That Sally Captain is a bit of a gimmick. He isn't going to win you games. Come on, sir, Bob. Peace out, man. The Sally one is tough, but half of the point of that Smash Captain isn't to stay alive. Sons of Rolo. How you doing, brother? Mr. Peters. If you go in with like a Blood Angel Smash Captain, right, what you actually want to do is hit 2 high-value targets, kill one, be killed by the other one, fight on death for 2 CP, murder that. Done. Andy, where did you sneak in from? Oh, Cryptic Chimera here in the chat. How you doing, brother? Hey, that strap. Yeah, yeah. Mate, I've had 2 nights hit by that guy because the deployment map and the terrain combined have meant that I've had to deploy knights in a very offensive pattern where I haven't wanted to, but that's just been all we've been able to do. And I've lost 1 and had a second one badly damaged. I've never lost 2 because I've been lucky, but I'm aware that that's because I've been lucky. That's not. There's no skill involved in being lucky. Everyone gets lucky every now and again. Lurking, absolutely. Yes, mate, the reroll, like aura abilities changing, is an amazing thing for the game. Like, it means that you can put a lot better abilities out there now, because you can temper what it can affect, right? So everyone knows rerolls of hits is a great ability to have. Rerolls of wounds is a phenomenal ability to have. That's why Bobby G kept going up in price before they eventually went, look, just be a lieutenant. You're too powerful. And with good reason, because reroll wounds is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. That's why that grab amp strat the Marines get is just fucking wrong. So wrong. But if you can instead go, well, look, I'll tell you what. The only thing this guy should be able to affect is all your frontline troops, and then maybe things like a Devastator squad. But he can't affect the repulsor because the guy is inside the repulsor and can't really see him. He's too busy pressing buttons. Pretty sure all foot troops will get it. Centurions probably shouldn't. Yeah, Arch Contaminator. It's super, super good. What other foot troops shouldn't get it? Talos. Talos shouldn't get it. Kronos. You know, there's quite a lot out there that isn't a vehicle or a bike or anything similar, in fact. But when you start stacking these overlapping things, just like... Right. Dreads might get it, but if a Dread does get it, I bet you anything it's a basic Boxnaut Dreadnought. And not like a Leviathan. Or a Dorito. Or, ideally, a fucking Relic Contemptor with double as. Twice. Because that's an evil thing right now. Right, I'm going to start spacing these out a little bit. As we get towards the hotter point, I want more of that to show through. So we'll have a little less lava. And we'll do a lot more sort of smaller speckles as we get towards the brightest point of the blade. Yes, they are, mate. Absolutely. That's like 200 points, I think, isn't it? Or slightly less. Lee, how you doing, man? I don't think anything that comes from Forge World should get caught. Just for Games Workshop's own sales and marketing. Matt, thank you very much, man. We're working on the lava effect now, the sort of molten look. We've nearly finished the first half of the first side for our base coat. And the second, I'm going to go back through and start getting some highlights down on this. Trying to make it look a bit more 3D, get it to stand out a little bit more. We'll see if we've done this right. If we haven't, alright, cool, we've learned, we'll start again. Cheers, brother. Yeah, I don't think there's there's a lot that we'll see on the table that won't be core, that isn't a basic line infantry, or maybe something like Sanguinary Guard for Blood Angels will get core, because they're an iconic unit in the army. Alright? So maybe your Wolfen still count as core. But obviously your Repulsor Executioner isn't, which means neither will the rest of the Primaris tanks. So the new Gladius that's coming out, almost certainly not core. Heavy Necessors, yeah. Do aggressors get it? I don't think we've seen that. Although, if I'm honest, that might have been released or leaked or whatever you want to say over the last day or two. I've been paying very little attention to Warhams at all this weekend. Have been otherwise engaged. Right. So that's a good start. Comrade Cern, what up, brother? Abaddon, that sounds good. I could deal with that. That's quite thick. Not really used yes. What I think the relic tax should go away. In terms of, you can only have one of these if you take another heavy support or whatever, because it doesn't matter. Because for Marine armies, they've already got so much stuff in that bracket that they want to take. So the relic tax isn't a tax. It's just take the shit you're going to take. And by the way, would you like a Leviathan? Which is nonsense. I'd like to see relic be one relic per army. So you can either have a Sakaran, a Contemptor, a Leviathan, a Dorito. But that's it. So not you have one Leviathan and one Sakaran, but just, you want a relic? Cool. Which one would you like? You sit there, but. I don't give a shit. Right, so we've got some Mechanicus Grey. We've got the sword is this way up. So let's do the obvious highlight to begin with. Just hit the edge of this blade. Right, obvious highlight is obvious, I know, but this is going to give us a little bit of a reference point. If we make it slightly thicker, it might anyway. Fish, they're starting to explain why you're on here every night and not like hanging out with the actual friends that you must have made while playing that list. Right, now we need to work in some edges to this, but not all of it. And then we've got one more highlight to do after this as well. Thick Oz. So far, we've painted some black paint over everything else. That's it. But welcome to the stream, man. Thanks for stopping by. All we've done is we've blocked out a little of the sort of molten effect we're going for. And now we're coming in with some grey, like a mid-tone grey, using Mechanica Standard Grey to start picking up the edges of these. And then we'll come in with the Mohawk, obviously. We'll come in after this with a lighter grey. Just to hit a couple of those edges Make them slightly brighter. On areas like this very large darker set right at the edge of the blade, we'll just put some cracks in on those areas as well to help them have a bit more interest and stop being just a solid thing. I'm not going to do down there because that's going to be painted on, but let's just do a couple of small cracks. Zoom in for you guys for a bit. There you go. So this is where we're at. Now I can't paint this for very long because I want to hold this in a very weird place to paint to get the focus right. But if you look at how delicate we're being with these lines, just to keep them super thin, he says, almost can't paint in this position. There you go, see. So obviously we've got a lot of this to do. We've got 45 odd minutes into the stream, and we're halfway through the first half. We've done a base coat and a little bit of a highlight. So let's keep going. On these, let's just highlight the top edge, or what will be the top edge, once this is the right way up, on all of them. So we're doing this to try and get that sense of depth, that 3D-ness to everything. Fuck off. Cloma, how you doing, bud? How was your day? Just get those outlines in. Fuck off or die. Daddy Longlegs are absolute bullshit things. That thing flies in my face one more time. It's done. Fucking eat it. Yes, congratulations today, mate. Very well done. Mark was playing at Glasshammer and took the big W. Absolute superstar. Very hard to win at Glasshammer. So you can see which ones have got the highlights on and which one haven't, and it makes a massive difference. I think you'll agree. We're going to leave a lot of the lines, sort of interconnecting bits, very, very dark. That hate towards a bug is brilliant. Right. I have had probably 4 hours sleep, which is usual for me. But I also have expended a lot of energy, done a lot of walking today, and so I'm shattered. As you can see from this is flashbacks to the Necronathon. I'm done, son. So I have very little patience for fuck annoying bugs. So what did you play today then, Cloma? Gotta buy movement tray stat. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Elements are decent. The GW ones are shite. They're not good at all. Bizarrely, sometimes they don't actually fit a base. The gap is too big. Right, I'm gonna have to go back to painting in normal position now because elbow is hurting on the desk. That's the main issue we've got. Frosden's already bought a second 3D printer. Nice. Hey, he keeps telling me you guys are spending money in his web store and keeps thanking me for the code, so I know it's worth it for him. Right, on this, we're gonna have to do the bottom side of the highlight, but we won't do all of the bits to make it look like there's some variation in the surface, so we'll leave some of that black going in. It's obviously got to have the highlight or it'll look weird. Won't go crazy with it. Iron Hands and Blood Angels and Crafter's Elder. Fucking hell. Interested that there's that many Iron Hands. They got a mass intercessor spam with Father of Future. That's about the only Iron Hands list I can see being still super viable, is that plus obviously your Eradicators and so on. Get some Eliminators in. But congratulations, man. Well-deserved win. Considering I very luckily bullied you into 4th place at the last event you were at. By 8 points. Fucking the tightest of all tight margins. Levi dreads everywhere. Fuck. They can't still be trying to do the bloody Brohammer style semi-unkillable dread. That can't work. I mean, I get that it trundles forward and shoots in combat, but I'd probably take what Nick was taking back when he was playing Iron Hands and go for Contempt to a Cyclone, Twin Lars, and a Fist. Like, come and fucking get it. Cervantes! How's it going? No, Mark. You smashed yourself. That's the only reason that game went down the way it went down. I'm all about credit where it's due, and whilst I don't think I made any mistakes during that game, that wasn't the reason that I won. Right. Also, what kind of fucking superstar is this, everyone, right? Cloma there in the chat comes down to playing a tournament I'm hosting, right? Cool. Because he's got a long way to drive, I'm like, hey, look, do you want to just stay here tonight? I'll cook you some dinner. Yeah, no worries. As a thank you, completely fucking, like, unasked for or anything, this son of a bitch sends me an 18-year-old single malt. You can stay anytime. Hell yeah. Monarch G Joker, thanks for that follow and welcome. So again, miss several of the edges with this. Give it some texture, essentially. I don't mean make sure the paint has texture. I mean only paint some of the highlights so it looks like there is a rougher surface to this. So see that gap that we just missed in there? Let's get a couple of cracks in. The crust, I suppose we could call this. So very light brush pressure, very thin paint to allow it to flow off the brush nice and easily. There's not a tremendous amount of room this side, like this sort of bedrock area that was in the other one. Gotta keep these nice and small. Finally got a large bit of space, so let's get a nice little fork on that one. Boom. Right, so that's our first focal point. Fuck, it's somewhere in there. I can barely see this, so bam. Well, we found it. There we go. There's our first highlight pass. Once again, if we just cover that section up, it's starting to look okay. Now let's get a second highlight in. I'm going to grab some... would work. Yeah, don't want to go too bright. Don't want to go too bright. So we've got some Administratum Grey. It's a good sort of 2 steps up from that Mechanica Standard Grey we were just using. This is a little thick, so let's grab a bit more water down as well. Waves from actual Manchester, brilliant. I haven't got to put up with you talking to me in a foreign accent tomorrow, have I, Danny? Right, just going to re-highlight a lot of that, but keep them super small. Brilliant. Brilliant. Like, for anyone that couldn't quite decode that or thought that sounded a bit off, I don't care if he sounds like he's Italian or Greek or, you know, an actual foreign accent, but Manchester, foreign accent. You talk weird. Wait, hang on. You talk weird to people from Manchester or to just people in general? Because people in Manchester, you know, opinion doesn't really count. Right, so you can again already see how much difference this little extra highlight is having, how much that stands out across all of this. Manchester is the something city on earth. Finish this caption. Greyest? Do you mean greyest? I think you said greyest city on earth. To be fair, the last time I was in Manchester was 15 odd years ago, so I imagine it's changed for the better a lot since then. I'm trying to paint! God damn. I gave you homework to do, mate. I expected it in by today. Like, this is terrible, young man. So let's highlight some of these little cracks as well as we're here. Getting there. Dampest, brilliant. Aside from the picture, it's absolutely spicy. That sounds horrible. It sounds like the sort of thing that no one should say, put it that way. I got a new PC. Whoa. No, you're a grown-ass man. You make your own decisions. You live with the consequences of those decisions. Get that homework done, scrub. We will be cleaning wet palettes out, scrubbing airbrushes, edge highlight in Space Marines. You know, we'll find all the shit jobs for you to do. Yes, I'm aware. Doesn't mean the homework stops, mate. It just becomes either stuff you want to do even more, or stuff you've just got to do. Such as practice blending, glazing. Again, just get some of the edges on this section. Stay well within the grey that we've just done as a highlight as well. That was a little bit of a large highlight, but it's okay. And look, we're getting that sense of highlight, get a little of that illusion of texture. and as long as you keep your paint nice and thin, come off the brush real easy. You can use super light pressure. It's rocks that there were Carnos on the wall. Yeah, I also have never seen that, but I was there once to watch Sponge play. They were great. Well, I think so far, from what I can see of this, we're doing the right things. We're doing them about the right way. So, this is good, considering we're completely winging this. Were you a bit absorbed in the band to notice the wall? Yeah, probably, mate. That and I was 20. So, it wasn't recently, you know. I also couldn't drink because I had to drive to Manchester and back in a fucking day to go to that gig. Ugh. So I nearly crashed the car on the way there because one of my mates told a story that was fucking hilarious. All about a trip he was asked to take by his girlfriend to the clinic, and a mishap with a nurse. It was fucking hilarious. And for a while, there were a lot of people in Cheltenham that I told this story to, that when introduced to my mate Steve, would be like, wait, Steve? Like, Steve with the... You know, yeah, I fucking hate you! Dear, dear. Snakebite and black. Ugh. I never understood that. Like, I get the appeal of the drink, you know. It's a biker drink. Gets you shit-faced quickly. But I never understood the putting blackcurrant in it. Just seemed a bit wimpy. Get fucking mangled. It was pre-alcopop. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Back then, if it was like, right, let's get shit-faced, it would just be, here's a bottle of rum. Nah, there isn't. £90p a pint. Fuck off. Fuck off. That's horrible. That is horrible. God, one of the clubs I used to work in got told off by the council for having the drinks at the price they were at, because in their eyes it was too cheap and was leading to issues on the high street late in the evening. Admittedly, it was Heineken was 50p a pint. Like, you go out on a Monday night with a fiver and be fucking leathered. Jaeger, that's absolute lies. That is absolute lies, because you can't get a pint of anything in London for £4. Tap water. Nope. Still charge it. Get that highlight, you fucker. Oh, yeah, okay, fair. Fair. Jesus Christ, fish. We used to do Boilermakers at a bar I worked at. That would be like the staff drink. If you were in there on your night off, then the next thing you know, there'd be, it was obviously pints rather than steins, but a pint of beer with a large shot of bourbon chucked in the bottom of it. Had to down it, obviously. God, that made you behave like a bit of a savage. Right. So this is where our molten blade is going to be at in its finished form. This side of it, at least. And I'm a bit of a fan of that. I quite like it. We've got a couple of highlights to tidy up. I just need to do a highlight at the top there, but I'm going to paint this bit black first anyway. And then we'll see what it looks like after that highlight's been done. I reckon this is good. The sword is working, mate. Gotta have faith, right? This was kind of what we envisaged it to be when we thought of the idea on Thursday night. I'm glad it's working out. I should go. Ah, fish, that's wrong. At least it was in the bathroom. Let's get that top highlight. Oh no, dude, that's horrible. Self-service vodka tonic dispensers. What? That had to be like 1% vodka, 99% tonic for them to even consider making money at that place. That's disgraceful. Like, how could you? Yep, it's alright. Tell you what, where the fuck is Rocky when you want him, right? So we're likely to get one side of this sword finished tonight. Jesus. I don't think I ever downed a pint of spirits. But we used to do like octuple rum and cokes, so that's kind of close. That's no, I think if we'd put one more shot in, it would have been half a pint of rum in a pint of rum and coke. So Goldschlager is horrible, and no one should drink that ever. I used to play silly drinking games with my mate Tim, where we'd go to a bar, order 10 shots of something, literally walk in, 10 shots of whatever, line them up 5 each. Whoever got to the end the slowest, like the loser of the boat race, paid for the round. It was dumb. But it was really, really dumb with Goldschlager because A, that stuff tastes like battery acid if battery acid tasted really bad. And B, if, as you've decided, you're really not enjoying this and you don't want to pay for this round, so you're going to finish first regardless of what happens, if you're accidentally ever so slightly exuberant with your pickup of the shot glass and instead of pouring it down your throat, pour it directly up your nostrils, not good when you're sneezing fucking gold fleck bogeys and like aggressively cinnamon snaps. What? Not good. Not good. Unfortunately, I believe by that I was disqualified and therefore had to pay for this horrid shit, but alright, I think I've just over-thinned that. I have. Bollocks. The black paint's just dropped into the water well I've got on my wet palette. Terrible. Look at the difference though. Like, plain blade to kapow. I mean, haven't you done any of the highlighting on like the background of this yet? There is so much still to do on the blade. Unfortunately, this isn't the easiest thing to hold. Well, that'll do. Problem solved. No, still too thin. So again, we'll just go with some random shapes. We'll join a lot of this up. I'd like to do a sort of darker tip to the blade. I want this bit to be quite dark. So let's bring all of that in. So let's block this out. Picture first in the bar with only sombreros on his punishment. Fair. Let's put 2020. Oh god, Mad Dog 2020. Shit. Oh. No, I only drank that once. Did not like. I mean, it's not there to be liked. We're all well aware of that. But it's like, no, never drinking that again. That tastes like shit. Fish, you know it's going to be bad news as well. Like, here's a fucking plague of locusts. That's the next thing. So we saw how you dealt with a plague of corona. Now deal with plague of locust. Behave. Just doing a few very small areas here on this edge of the blade. Do want to kind of connect it all around up here a little, even if there's a little gap here and there, just to make it look a little bit more molten, especially around these little holes. I just realized we're slightly off screen, sorry about that. Just shift you over a little. So after locust, wasn't it frogs, then boils? Could have been. Could have been. That's what a wife a cake for her birthday. She wants it something alcoholic. What would you recommend? Looking for ideas. Just get like a traditional English Christmas cake recipe, because that's usually an entire bottle of rum or brandy poured into a cake. Alternatively, you could do things like a Victoria sponge with like gin infusions and stuff like that. Oh, fish! I didn't see that, but yes, that will do it. But yeah, gin Victoria sponge. You can do that. That's a good one. Alcohol soaked cherries, yeah, man. Rum soaked cherries are amazing. Covered in chocolate, just fucking epic. God, I could eat those all day. That's how good they are. Gonna do that to brace the sword. And let's get a couple of little sort of islands, for want of a better phrase, blocked out, just rough. Bit of sort of weird leopard spotting, I guess. Not in J. Brilliant. It might have been at some point. There was a confectioners in a town I used to work that would sell those cherries. Every payday I'd go down and get 100 grams or so of them, which was like 3. It would cost me 4 quid. But damn, so worth it. So worth it. Let's get some a little closer together there, and then we can start making it a little smaller as we approach the sort of hot point of the sword again. That's horrendous. That's horrendous. But all they're talking about is getting it battle ready, though. They're not talking about it being like finished. Yeah. I mean, for me, battle ready means that I can take it to a tournament and still try and win best painted. Whereas for them, in that example, battle ready means that it's got all the details shown. There is paint everywhere. It has a base. That's it. Also, don't expect any Best Painted awards from No Retreat. It's crazy fucking level of competition there. I've got no chance whatsoever of picking anything up. It's a painting award. We're going to try and bring home the Champions Cup. That's about the only one we've got a chance of. Apart from Best in Faction, Imperial Knights, we could win that one because I'm the only one. There's 2 Chaos Knight players and me. The fuck, guys. The fuck. Doing it all wrong. I am looking forward to my game 1 though, because if I win that, then great. That's one of the toughest lists I'd have to face out. If I don't, then cool. Pressure's off, playing for second. Doesn't matter. Goblin green bases are not coming back. Crown Blade, get out. You're banned. Goblin green bases look horrendous. Nothing should ever be that colour on your miniature in a large sort of flat area. Okay, have we got enough density? Not quite. Just another couple. Some of these just need to be filled in again as well. Didn't get particularly great coverage. Like I said, this paint is slightly thinner now than I wanted it, but it's probably for the best. Just want to get in here as well, just to do that line. Don't want to go down into the recess. I want to leave that the colour it is, that little orange, but I do want to hit this line to give it a nice border across the top there. And we'll even do this sort of effect on here as well, where we've got this gap. Let's take that in like so, and on this side we're just going to mark a gap now there and do exactly the same this side. Do not paint those flames. That would be real shit. All the grey and red texture paints you do yourselves in your model with non-green base is whatever that says. Red gun cases I'm actually not bothered about at all. I think on a lot of minis that looks fine. Classic ultras. While that dries, let's just retake this area Darken it down again. This is looking good though. I'm going to go a little less dense on the yellow than I did on the purple, because I want that to look a little hotter and I want the purple to look a little bit more magical. So one that's like an actual heat and one that's just a magical effect. Other half is looking to strip a resin model. What would you recommend for stripping paint off resin? So resin, by resin do you mean fine cast or do you mean other resin? Because if it's fine cast, don't throw it in the bin and start again. And yes, that sounds shit and very wasteful, but that stuff is terrible and doesn't strip well anyway. If it's other resin, get some BioStrip 20, put it on a toothbrush and scrub the mini with the toothbrush. Do not soak the mini in it. Don't paint it on and leave it. Just on a toothbrush and go, and then clean it off. And then do it again. If you leave it in BioStrip, the BioStrip can soften it a little bit. You can lose some detail. But just use it on a brush and you'll be fine. It's a Jurassic Park model. Fucking sick. Love a bit of Jurassic Park. Alright, let's start getting some of these little lines in there then. £3 vibrator. Okay, I think I used to use one of those before I bought my proper electric toothbrush, but yeah, that makes perfect sense. Someone said Dettol in there, I think. Yeah, Dettol's great. I love the smell of Dettol, and if you're going to strip your minis with it, then you need to love the smell of it too. It's, however, a bit of a fucker to clean off, and if you do it in the wrong order, you get this black gunk that persists on your miniature, and you don't want that. I used to use Dettol before I switched to BioStrip, and I'm telling you now, BioStrip night and day is thousands of times better than Dettol. Yeah, I think mine was 16 quid because I got the big tub. It is super cheap. It's got Amazon Prime delivery. It's reusable. If you do it all in the tub, then you're good for some time. It's also okay for like cleaning up paint spills as well, because it'll do it without annihilating the surface that's underneath. So for any parents out there that have got kids that like getting into their paints, then you know. It's a resin cast and a painted raptor skull. I brought when I was pissed. Nice, mate. Awesome. Love Jurassic Park. Great memories watching that. As an adult, let alone a child. Oh, I see. That must have been a surprise. Yeah, I think this is working quite well. Though, what I might do is switch to black ink for doing these lines. Just to get a little bit more coverage. Balance on stars, take it easy, man. Thickles, size 1. I paint pretty much everything with a size 1, Winsor & Newton. It's perfect size. You get enough paint in the body of it, the belly of it, that you can just crack on for a while. You're not constantly going back and forth to the pot. You get a pointed enough like tip to the brush. You can do eyes and everything. Oh, okay, man. Cool, we will be doing the whip. We are a little ways off. About 40 odd minutes or so before we do the whip. Nice brush and size 0. Is that going to be an issue for tomorrow? It'll be an issue for you. But only that you'll have to go back and forth to your palette more. So having a larger body to the brush is better in terms of convenience as an artist. And any brush that's got a decent point, you'll be able to do things like eyes and stuff with. So I've done them with this on stream. And you guys have seen that happen several times now. It's not really hard, it's just something you've got to be careful with. You've got to have a steady hand. Thickos, like I know certainly I as a child was like, well, I'll do everything in a fine detail brush. 18 hours later, the model is finally blue and I'm ready to do anything else. I think we've all been there, man. Get this little web of connecting lines down. I love how one half is like completely in focus because of those highlights. The other half looks very much sort of blurred out and washed a little bit. It's amazing how much difference a highlight or two has. Do a few little crack lines around these. I'll give a little extra bit of sort of body essentially to this area. Let's do some more on this end. That's looking a little bare in comparison. So we're Plastic in Theatre. I didn't get a chance to watch the original in the movies, but I watched it on VHS at one of the sort of last days of school before summer holidays, where the teacher was like, look, you guys do what the fuck you want. If somebody brings in a film, we'll put it on the TV. And that was the first time I saw Jurassic Park. And I had to watch it over 2 lessons. I was enthralled by it. The bit where they're trying to turn the generator back on, I was like, please live! Crown plate, that's awesome. Crown plate, stop! Danny, all you need out of a brush is for it to do the job that's in front of you. So if you're base coating, don't use a size 0. If you're putting down some larger blends, probably don't use a size 0. But as soon as you start getting to like the smaller areas, you might find that a lot better for you personally to use that. Whereas I'll continue using this because this is extremely comfortable to use. I know exactly what I'm doing with it. I've just ordered another one because this is the last one I've got. I had to get it off of Amazon this time rather than Jackson's, but I need to keep that stock up. Right, let's go back to these highlights. So again, all across the top side of this part. This is the Mechanica Standard Grey, keeping it nice and thin. That was not so thin, just at the bottom of that little curve. But right, this bit's super important. We want to make a feature out of these cracks at this end of the blade. So, got to nail this bit. Obviously, don't want to do this, which we've done already, paint the little orb. That's annoying. And again, on this side, just do what's currently my left of all of those. Right, that's the outside bit. Now let's do actual outside bit. Raphael A404. I've heard good things about Raphael, I just haven't used it, and Winsor & Newton for me is absolutely spot on. I love their brushes. I know Frozzian swears by his Da Vinci's, but brushes, like anything, are a subjective choice. You know? I like the fact that with the Winsor & Newton, these things last me for between 4 and 6 months, depending mostly on what it is I'm painting. And that's painting between sort of 30 and 40 hours a week with a paintbrush. And that one brush will still be alive and still kicking at the end of that time. They're then good for anything afterwards, whether it just be like slapping down some base coats or getting a quick wash done or whatever. They're just not quite so good for detail work. Certainly I wouldn't do this with a brush that's one of my sort of cast-offs. Stuff and things. It's all happening now. MTAP 119. Thank you for that follow. Welcome. Jealous by one brush and one brush only. Yeah, sort of, mate. This is my brush. There are many like it, but this one is mine. You will eat with it, you will sleep with it. Like, hang on, sir. I think you're taking the piss. Yeah, that highlight's starting to come in there now. let's get this outside step done. Eat you! Dude. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very, very much. Getting his Twitch Prime sub on. How you doing, bud? What is the brush's name, Private? This one's called Matilda. There you go. That's an annoying place to music to stop. Doom, 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 doom. Get a few more of those cracks in there. Keep this nice and thin. Super tired of having problems seeing this part now. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Just gonna clean that. What's going on here? I decided I was gonna paint over all the shit that I airbrushed today. What you think, Rock? Good question about metallics. Can you put them in a wet palette? People say not to and use a tile. You can, and I do. They don't keep. Is the only problem. So if you put a metallic paint in your wet palette, expect it to absorb a lot of the water. Hydrophilic, I think, is the correct term for a metallic paint that will do that. Hydrophilic, something like that. It absorbs water, basically. And you'll probably be able to use it for that session, may not even be for all of that session, and then that's it. So it won't if you put it on a tile either. I wouldn't worry about it. Another thing people are kind of worried about, which, I mean, I lick my brush, so it doesn't worry me, but I can understand why people worry about it, is metallic paint obviously contains metal fleck, which is then on their wet palette, which is then potentially contaminating other brushes, other paints, and so on. And some people use one brush of metallics and won't use that brush for regular paint. So, you know. But I do. It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt the rest of my paint. It's not going to hurt my brushes. Alright, let's get a second highlight. Jesus Christ, man. Mental. They haven't had highlights on yet, mate. Like, anything that's had highlights on all this is the hand and the sort of cracks in the front of the sword. This sort of faux lava thing we've got going on. Again, keeping these nice and tight. Just small highlights. We're not going to do the other side of the sword tonight. We've got about 25 minutes before we'd normally go into the whip. So we could do some work on the sword handle, I guess. I might do the other side of the sword off stream because you guys have seen now how this this comes to be, how we get this effect. No point in doing another stream where we literally recap exactly the same stuff. Tuesday stream, remember, is the last stream for a week. So on Tuesday we'll stream as normal, 9 o'clock start. Then on Wednesday evening, Tony Spruce with the host, thank you. On Wednesday evening I take a trip to Bristol to get on my obscenely early Thursday morning flight to Jib. Like, why is the plane taking off at 7:35, you bunch of savages? This is entirely not necessary. And then we'll be returning back to the UK on the following Tuesday. So her ladyship is not unhappy, but like, she's like, you just come back from holiday and you're gonna stream? You sure? You don't want to come and see me? Like, I do, but you know, it's giveaway day. On that day, we've got a stream. So there shall be a stream a week on Tuesday. And I'll just paint Warhammer minis and actually play the game. A few. Oh, Rocky, I was well aware you were being sarcastic, but I wasn't gonna give you the satisfaction of that one, mate. Daddy Tubbs! This is one of your longest commitments. Mate, this is longer than the majority of my relationships. So, you know, don't you worry. Again, just keep getting these little tiny highlights down. And then I'm just going to bring up a couple of these a little more. This is a little brighter, this end, than the pink end is. Partially because we've put less down. There's less sort of debris in the middle of the blade. And so it's giving an overall brighter effect, but also because of the colours we're using. Got those warm yellow oranges. Just the way I am, dude. Just the way I am. Deal with it. Yeah. Right, having a little trouble focusing on some of this now. Eyes have decided, no, you've been awake for long enough today, so they're just shutting down ever so slightly. But we will power through. There's not much left to do on this side. Anyway, just got this sort of feature on the bottom to do, and that's that bit. Take it easy, brother. Rocky, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, man. Need to do more on this bottom line as well. Just a couple of those left to do, but that is pretty much the blade. Sword of a thousand truths. Cool. See again. Remember how earlier on we were talking about how this section of the blade was completely like blurred out, just wasn't in focus? Just because of that second highlight. As soon as you put that down, bam, snaps in. Rocky, peace out, dude. Speak to you soon, man. But I'm loving that. Like, you put this next to good old Magnus the Shred. Yeah, that's gonna look pretty fucking sick. Ha! Daddy's Herbs, it never stops, man. It never stops. But you made a vow. Vows are sacred. If you said, I promised myself, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, mate, do whatever. But you vowed. Set in stone, that dude. Cannot be undone. Let's see, we've got about 15 minutes before we do the whip. Let's paint this feather, because why not? Let's do... No, let's not paint it. So if I paint it now, I'm just going to paint it green and blue for no reason whatsoever, and it would be really, really dumb. Let's do all of this stuff. We're going to do some reds. So we got some black, we got some red out. That will do. That is a feather. That bit there, feather. Rocky, get those walls finished. You still owe me a painted unit, motherfucker. No, no bitching out and like, oh, well, you know, I've got this Death Watch instead. I'm just gonna paint that. Like, no, you promised me a painted unit. Do not disappoint. So black and red make a really nice brown. I'm actually just going to do this in it as well because it's going to be gold, so it doesn't matter. Grab the hairdryer and a tick and just blast all this down. Well, I think the masking fluid worked really well, by the way. You got some MIG stuff because it was the only thing that my local store had. But I think the trick is to definitely do a double coat on it. Last time I used it, I left it plenty of time to cure, but it was a single coat and it just didn't really work, and it was just a pain to deal with in general. But 2 coats seems to have done the trick. That hand was very well protected. And also, it all came off in one layer this time. There was one little bit that didn't quite come up with the first sort of peel. Too many sprues getting his sub on. Damn, man. Thank you very much, brother. As always, appreciate the support. I've never used enamels, but oils are great fun to paint with. Then again, that being said, I've never used oils to do like the main bulk of the painting. So I use oil washes quite a lot. I know a lot of folk are getting into using just oils to do their miniatures. We've raided a couple of streams recently where that's been like their main focus, is painting with an oil paint, rather than using it as just a weathering pigment and so on. Dum, dum, dum. Lock that in. So, right. Now we just blend up some red too. Easy. Yes, she does. Yeah, she's good at it as well. Thousand Suns troops are not cultists. They are Sangor and Rubrics. I think that's it for troops. They have a different codex entirely to regular Chaos. We're just for 2k Death Guard army, quite a few teams of 10 Plague Marines, maybe 2 Rhinos and the rest Termies. Currently, I would suggest to wait and not do anything because they're going to get their new codex by the end of the year. Honest answer there, mate. However, have you heard about our Lord and Saviour, wait till the book comes out, the Spartan Assault Tank? Because I've told Fish this a lot. Spartans. A Spartan can hold 25 infantry. Units of Plague Marines can go up to 20 strong. Oh, they can use cultists, cool. So you take 20 Plague Marines, all with knives, axes, all that sort of shit. Close combat boys. You get 3 Foul Blight Spawn, a Chaos Lord, and then the dude that allows you the extra sort of grenade damage, all in this Spartan. And that goes flying up the table with Contaminated Monstrosity and shooting 8 las cannons that hit on 2s. It's got 2 quad las cannons and a twin heavy bolter because, you know, why not? And then you disembark, get out your 3, Do you move? Chuck grenades. Mortal wounds everywhere. Done. Type number 4, trick question. You can't transport 10 eradicators because you can't even have 10 eradicators. Get out of here with your strange questions. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. Pretty sure they can be squads 5. Currently not. Unit size 3. Also, I think the expected for them is to go from 3 to 6 for unit size because Gravis. Trust me, if the maximum unit size was 5, we'd see 15 of them on the table and not 9 everywhere we went. So, by sheer dint of the fact that they are somewhat broken due to how efficient they are. Yeah, they're just gross. Codex soon, he says. Yeah, too right, man. Necron first. We are probably about a month away from the Necron book coming out. Which means there's every danger that there might be another Necronathon. Get some Necron reinforcements on the go. Still got Cesaras to paint at some point. So it might just be a weekend of painting Cesaras, actually. That isn't necessarily the worst idea I've ever had. Paint 1 mini, do a good job, take 2 days, sorted. Ghost Heathen. Cheers for that follow. Yeah, might do Cesaras. Then again, equally might do like triple monolith when the new one comes out and stuff like that. Get some freehand going up on the monos. Let's do some research into Necron glyphs before we do that, though, I think. Make sure I can spell out J Wazir in Necron. How many individuals are you getting? 3! Unless he's like unique to the army, which I severely doubt. But because rule of 3, if something's good, then it's worth taking 3 of them. So likely 3. And he's sick, so I think your worst idea is agreeing to give me lessons. You say give. I mean, there was a transaction, so don't worry. It wasn't that bad an idea. We bought a bottle of scotch with that money. I might need it during, after, and before your lesson is anything, you know. No, it'll be fun, dude. Be nice to talk to you as well. Apart from your weird Mancunian accent. If a donut is good, I always get 3 of them. That is profound in its majesty. See, there you go. There you go. Rule of 3 apparently applies to donuts, although I will admit that at certain points in my past, the rule of, say, 12 has also applied to donuts. I don't eat a lot of that sort of thing now. The whole gluten intolerant thing obviously puts a bit of a kibosh on eating donuts, but equally, I know it's real bad for me, and I don't need to be any fatter than I already am, thank you. So we usually just don't bother with donuts. What are you going to do for Magnus' armour then, or haven't you thought about it yet? Oh mate, we've thought about all of it. The only thing we hadn't actually thought about was a sword until the other night, and we was like, right, fuck it, I'm just going to do it this way. This will be cool. For the armour, we're going to paint it all green. And once we've got a good solid coat of like neon green, like eye-cancer green. I mean it, like genuinely, this is what we're going to do. Think like necrotai green, but all the way up to like loads of yellow put in there. Once we've done that, then we're going to get some white, mix that in and spray white all over everything. And then after we've ruined it by spraying white all over it, and again, I'm not joking with this is legitimately our process, what we're going to do. Once we've got white all over it, then I'm going to spray it red. So we're going from green through white and then everything red. And the reason behind that is, like we did on Fish's Wraith Lord, by using a colour underneath your final coat that is a enormous way around the colour wheel, so usually it's polar opposite, you get some crazy good shadows. Just it looks phenomenal. Great with doing red. You can do yellows the same way with pinks and so on. It works quite well. And what we'll do for now is just getting, I appreciate that's off camera, but just a little bit of a base coat on there. So when I take a photo of this whole thing, it's going to look pretty crisp. But we're about to go into dun 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 the work in progress gallery. So if you've got something you would like to show off, if you've been working on something and you're like, I'd like the stream to see this, now is the time. Exclamation point Discord in the chat. Get yourself over there, go to the work in progress gallery and upload some pics of your stuff. Also, exclamation point mystery in the chat. Every month I give away a mini that I painted. The winner gets choice of 3 minis. You can either have, this month, the Gloomspike Gits Loon Boss, because he's super cool. Look at those mushrooms. They're fucking amazing. That's one option. The other option is a store anniversary miniature. It is Sergeant Joven. So we've got another Space Marine up for grabs. This one, pretty hard to get. You know, he looks cool. I don't normally do things like blood effects and stuff. I certainly don't usually do disembodied shit on bases. But I see enough people putting that into their work and into the whip that let's have a go at doing it on stream. Show you guys how I would do it. Maybe it will change how you do it. If you don't fancy either of these 2 cool minis though, we do have something in the mystery box. In here is a mini. Previously, we've given away Space Marine Heroes, Nurgle dudes from their Underworlds band, a Wraith Knight. Is that it, or have we given away another one as well? Was it just those three? It might have been. It might have been. Now, we've had some pretty awesome miniatures come out recently. And so this may contain a brand new miniature. It might do. You gonna do anything from Robocraft's resin, mud stuff? I've some but never used them. Probably. So loads of fun things in here. He's not a lieutenant, he is a sergeant. Hence this. If you meant use him as a lieutenant, no, I don't think so. I think the option is mastercrafted power sword, various bolt rifles, and then like the Indom one and the Phobos one and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. That draw, as well as a £50 gift voucher to the hobby stockist of your choice, will happen not Tuesday coming, but the one after that. So 7 days from Tuesday, tune in, !win, !mystery, where you could win either or both, if you're a real lucky bastard, of those prizes. Kareem! You are late tonight. Do you want to see what you've missed? Do you want to see what we've been working on that you have not seen so far? We've been painting a sword for a rather large boy. He is known as Magnus the Blue. And we've only done one side. This was what the sword looked like at the start of the stream. And a little bit of freehand with some black and some grey. And this is where we're at. Much more interesting. We've obviously got, like I said, all the highlights left to do on the midsection of that. We'll probably do that on Tuesday. That won't take too long. And then we might do Magnus's do. Why not? That seems like a good place to go to from this. I'm going to do the back of the sword. Maybe the Hellstorm stream. Who knows? Might just do it over lunchtimes. Blue on client request. The client said, paint it however you want. I'm like, right, blue. That's it. That's the only colour it should ever be. Let's check out that whip. Alrighty. Moving on. So, this is Crash Test. Rob. These things are apparently the devil's own work to assemble and paint. So, well done, dude. You've done the first part already. Nice bit of crackle effect on the base. I think it's just a photo, but some of the details are just getting a little bit lost. There's a lot going on with the miniature that really isn't helping out. But maybe get an extra couple of highlights on things like some of that bone colour that you've got. Maybe get some more shades on some of the metals that you've got as well. Darken down those recesses where the turbine sort of starts off. But good job, mate. Got another angle here. Yeah, looking decent. Looks like a lot of contrast paint, possibly. Yeah, looks like you've got a little bit of sort of faux blood or something going on in these combine harvester blades. We're going to skip one because we try and do 3 per person. Yeah, interesting, mate. Very interesting. Like what you've done with the base. Seen similar things before. Loving that kind of demon world thing you've got going on. My only criticism with the base would be trying to add a little bit more texture to it. You've got something that's obviously very, very flat at this point. But other than that, it looks good. Looks good. Commissar Alfarius. We've got some guardsmen. Nice, dude. Getting those Cadians on the go. Is this the command squad, maybe? See, man with grenade launcher. So it might just be normal infantry. It is. It's normal infantry set. Nice. Nice. I've had to paint many loyal 32s in my time. They're super fun to paint, these miniatures. They haven't lost a step in the 20 odd years that the kit's been out, obviously. They can be a lot of work to get the detail out, but they actually aren't terrible. Nice job what you're doing, mate. Keep it up. Crowley says, slow few days. He's got one grot shooting another grot in the head. You're in the guard, son, says Too Many Sprues. Could be. Nice, mate. What is that base rim colour? That is something, man. It's like English mustard yellow, nearly. Matches the rest of the kill team. Oh, okay. Fine. If it's a kill team thing, I'll let you off. I really won't paint it black. Nice work though, mate. The skin, good texture, good tone. The crazy eyes on that guy. Awesome. Yeah, good job. Kets, first time in 6 years, I picked up a paintbrush, did a Blood Angel toner, just got to learn how to get past the shakes and why my paint is a bit thin in my wet palette. So it could be thin if you've thinned it, could be thin if it's been on the wet palette for a while and it's sort of soaked up some of that. Past that, maybe you got a pot that was just a bit thin anyway. I don't know. It's a nice solid base coat of red though. This is one of the Space Marine Heroes ones, isn't it? I don't know which one it is. Oh, he's got the Thunder Hammer. Nice. Speaking of. So your Thunder Hammer mallet, that needs a second coat. The red looks pretty good. Nice and strong shade. Obviously you've then got things like shading and highlighting and so on to do to that. But the Thunder Hammer there, you can see brush strokes. So just, again, thin your paint, pop it back over top of that. That should even those out and you'll be absolutely fine, mate. Santi took a break from armor panels to work a bit on the head. Still a lens and eye to do, plus future OSR for the two lights in a jaw guard. It's a brilliant feature in the miniature. Let's get a good look in at Gazzy's head. Looking good, dude. Looking very, very good. Oh, I've got a few bloody awful things. Yeah, looking alright, mate. Get some like a bright pink and just do the gum line because it makes the mouth stand out so much more. And a lot of Orc Boys and characters, it's modelled on there as well. Looks like you might have tried to a little bit with the top one, but I'd go real bright. Not like bright as in like white, but bright as in like vibrant and just pow. Yeah, definitely, I would do that. You've also got, and I would clean this up now before you go any further in the miniature, you've got a couple of mould lines on those horns. If you look at the one in the background, there's one that sort of follows the entire length of it. The one in the foreground, you can see it at the point where the casing for it is. Squid pink, I don't know what that is. I'd probably go with something like sort of this stuff, the Vallejo Sunset Red, which is, as you can see, really, really vibrant, bright pink. But I would definitely just clean those mould lines up. Well, it's just primer, and then just prime over the top, and done, sorted. Looking good though, man. Keep it up. That armor panel, the shoulder, looking great. With the very sort of corners of stuff, you could go with an ever so slightly brighter highlight, and just get like specular highlights, like just little dots on the corner to really just like pop those out. Dr. Rhino, good evening. Looking good though, man. Loving that blue. Ghost Heathen, resin bust by Quentin Bryan Art on Etsy, but painted by myself. Took about 4 or 6 hours each. One is Clever Girl, the other blue. Holy shit, dude. Nice. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. You could definitely do a little bit more with the eyes. It looks like those eyes are pretty decent sized, so you can get some lines in there and so on. And these minis look like they would be absolutely fucking perfect for like a couple of coats of gloss varnish and then oil washing the fuck out of them. And do a couple of like solid coats of gloss, because once that oil is down, just take a rag, basically like a soft cloth, and just wipe the whole thing and just clean up all of it in one go. They look sick though, man. Lovely. Fucking quality. Right, Toonie Sprues. Finally got some work on a Night Army. One Warglaive built and magnetized. Yeah, boy! Get them armigers down. Got to be done. Got to be done. My night list is being essentially copied by one of the guys going to no retreat. Originally it was going to be actually carbon copied by somebody else that was going to no retreat. It literally just said, what are you taking? I'm going to run your list. But someone's taking War Dogs in Unit 2 and a second single War Dog, and then 3 Crusaders. One with double Gatling and then 2 that are normal Crusader loadout. Are you going Chaos or are you going Loyalist with these? Personally, I think you should go Loyalist, but, you know, bias. I thought that Riptide gun you attached to his shoulder then. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? This doesn't work. Kareem, you are biased. You have no opinion. Kareem of the Black Legion, like, I know you. Tell you, mate, if Chaos had a get back up on full strength strat, maybe. But they don't. The Johnsonator, Royal Eaters backpacks, whip backpacks and shoulder pads this evening. Nice, dude. All that airbrush work going down. Fucking sick, dude. Real nice work, mate. As always, love that weathering style that you've got. Very gritty, very cool. See, Toonie Sprues, he gets it. Loyalist all the way. Absolutely. The best. Just the best. Looking great, mate. Looking fucking great. Is this some special unit you've got with like the bare arm? I don't know enough about their 30k lore and so on. But I've noticed a few of them now with this. Fucking love it though, dude. 10 out of 10 as always. Rampages. Okay, sweet. Right, Saragon. Base coats on breaches blocked in. The real whip this weekend was getting my girlfriend to do 5 of the Dark Shadow Witches. Ah! Nice. Nice, man. Getting that production line painting going on. trying to work out, is that Tullamore Dew? Is that right? Can't quite guess the whiskey. Looking good though, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Looks like you've got some riptide parts stripped in the background there, perhaps. Thick Oz, Gulliman's arm / sword whip. One of my first projects with an airbrush, so all advice is welcome. Okay, cool. Okay, so I can see an area to improve upon immediately. When you're using an airbrush, you have the easiest way of blending one color into another, and your blends should be seamless. Should be that one thing starts and then there's a point where it becomes both and then it becomes the other. And if we look here, you've got this that darker red to black that looks very much like here's black, there's red, and the two are separate entities, and they shouldn't be. They should be sort of pushed through. And if we scroll up a bit as well and look right up here at the top, again you've got the same kind of thing. You have one that ends and then bang, there's your other one. It starts off and that's that. Now I've painted Bobby G a couple of times, and you've done the right thing by leaving this arm off the miniature, because my god, it is just a pain to paint otherwise. All I would suggest is that you work on your blends a little bit more. If you don't use it already, Vallejo Flow Improver is the absolute best thing to use to thin your paints in the airbrush. I use that with pretty much everything that goes in the airbrush. It's literally things like primer and varnish that we don't use otherwise. But that's the advice I'm going to give you, mate. I love what you've done with the flames. You've got a little bit of darkness going on there. You could glaze that in a little bit more, thin it, so introduce it a little bit more gradually rather than just sort of paint it on. But just work on those airbrush transitions, because that's one of the main reasons to have an airbrush, and it's something that really should be at the forefront of your mind whenever you're blending any colours together using it. Good job overall though, mate. Keep it up. Let me see the whole mini when it's done, yeah? Crazy Ant, 20 more. See, now we're talking. Now we're getting to that 60 stage. This is where it's at, man. Nice. Get that next unit of Scorpec Destroyers down, you'll be fine. Got Liquitex Flow Improver. Never used it. I don't know if it's as good, better. Answer on a postcard, please. Looking tight, man. Looking tight. Phil. Tilting plate to be done on the side. How to do them army wide. Okay, sweet. Dog-faced librarian helmet. Love it. Love it. I hate the idea of, especially characters that stand out as well. People can tell. Hang on a minute, I know exactly what that is. Not going out with a helmet on. I hate it. Really, really hate it. Crazy Yank, I think I did 20 with the new gun and 40 with the old gun. Exactly, Phil. Who goes out without their fucking lid on, right? He's looking good, mate. He's looking good. I think you could do with maybe just introducing, again, a bit more contrast. This is frequently the advice that we give here when looking at the whip. On the Dark Angels winged sort of icons that they've got, maybe just find a way of brightening up and darkening down the feathers in there. So just get some slightly darker recesses, get some slightly brighter highlights on there. The blue that you've done is a pretty solid blue. I've got no issues with that whatsoever, but there's elements that surround the blue and that inside the blue that need to be darkened. So you've got like the armpit where he's got that kind of exposed sort of soft part of the armor. I would paint all of those things black, because by darkening those down, as they're in the shadow spaces anyway, it just looks right. And by darkening those down as well, you'll get more of a focus on the blue, so help that happen. Instead of what you've got is you've got greys in there. Grey frequently will contain an element of blue to it, and the whole thing will start to mold into one. You want to have that separation. What did I miss? I'm a defense space marine. I'm a dumbass and runs about without my helmet. I mean, yeah, true. I don't understand it. All of my marines. Oh, this is it. Cool. All of my marines wear a hat. That's it. There's no rule. Close to a fifth of a chapter. Shit, son. That's 200 marines with at least 2 captains, 2 chaplains, 4 lieutenants, and so on and so on and so on. Damn, man, that's some commitment to the Dark Angels cause. Nice work. Nice work. Give us a pic of like the whole army if you can, if it's all painted. Nice one, dude. Right, well that was it. It was a short whip this evening, which, you know, we didn't mind too much because I am dead to the world. This is what we were working on this evening. Magnus's Flaming Sword of Change, which I actually really, really, really like. So I will probably finish off this part. Maybe do some of the blends, like the shadows, some of the highlights on the flame bits on the Hellstorm stream tomorrow. So join Mikey and myself at about 6 o'clock. We'll be going till about 8:30 at the absolute latest, and then after 8:30, I've got a private day, little painting lesson with Danny. I'll print you one. We're gonna be doing some non-metallic metals, a little bit of glazing, and so on. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to it. If you don't watch tomorrow's stream, Tuesday will be the last stream for a week. I'm going to No Retreat in Gibraltar. I will put up a load of like vlog content on Instagram. Because there's a big gap in the games, rather than come back and do like a 5-game battle report, what I might do is Instagram TV each game after it's happened. So like my initial thoughts on the game, you know, what went well, what didn't go well, the result, and so on and so forth. And then after I've come back, we've got a bit of a chance to think about it. Maybe we'll put out some examples of each game and talk through, you know, maybe stuff that I've learned from those games or important information I think that might be worth passing on. Oh, JC, you absolute boss! Thank you for that sub, Kareem. It's gonna be fun, mate. Game 1, I've got Poxmongers with the Ironclad Furnace on a Demon Prince. A Noxious Blight Man, Foul Blightspawn, I can never remember his name, a Tally Man, 3 lots of 3 Myphitic Haulers, 2 Plague Burst Crawlers with Entropy, and 3 Flesh Mower Drones. It's gonna be crazy. I work from home anyway, but we don't have to, based on government guidelines at the moment. Always taking the knights. Always taking the knights. Right, let's go check out Twitch. Let's find someone to raid. Let's pass the hobby train on. And because we haven't gone there in a while, why is it looking at the Games Workshop website? You know what? Fuck it. We'll go somewhere else. He's finished. No, he literally just finished his stream. Damn it! Fuck it. We can go raid Reiner. He's doing a charity stream. Oh yes, he is. Childhood cancer. Yeah. Yeah. So, when we get to Reiner's stream, if you don't follow him already, you really should. This guy is an absolute boss. Really, really good painter. Decent guy as well, and for me that's more important. Thanks to everyone that stayed tonight. Thank you again for putting your stuff in the whip. I will see you tomorrow or Tuesday. Peace out, everyone. Have a good one. M. Sherman 1422, 1424. That was embarrassing. Thanks for the follow. Welcome and goodbye. Peace.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. It's okay. I don't pretend anymore. Just sauce. Boom. Mohawk. Holy hell. What's up, buddy? Y'all here to fight cancer? That's what we're here doing. Well, we're doing a little bit of something. We're doing some cancer awareness, and I'm trying to make jokes to cover up my nervousness talking about it. What's up, Mohawk? How you doing tonight? We have some follows. I'm gonna say hello to you. Thord Elm, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Goliath Games TV, Phil 35. Welcome to the channel, everybody. It's good to see you. Just enjoy seeing people get their comeuppance go. Yeah. Karamazoid. Kremazoid? Welcome to the channel. Love it. Thank you so much for hitting follow, everybody. And, Mohawk. Holy crap. Two things going on here. Kozadan, thank you for gifting that sub to the lately. And Mohawkminiatures. Prime subscription. That's an ego boost from you, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll print you one. How you doing? Trying to say hello to everybody I see dropping in chat. Dats and Des, welcome back. How you doing? Good freaking evening. Let's talk about tonight. By the way, Mohawk, what were you painting? Fill me in, please. Please. I gotta know. I try to spread it out a bit. I get it. I do the same thing. It's just, it's always an honor when somebody drops a Twitch Prime sub. You know how it is. It's one of those thoughtful ones. You have to go in there and actually hit that button. You're like, you. I love what you do. Bam. Hit the button. We're painting ourselves a childhood cancer awareness Marine. He fights cancer. He's of unknown loyalty to the Emperor. But yellow and black, that's been on deck tonight. Been having fun. And by the end of the night, will be someone's. Sort of the Cyclops. Sounds intense. Molten magical effect. Ooh. That's something else I still haven't painted. I haven't painted my Magnus. We were talking earlier about Super Heavy Saturdays coming up. It's something